Hi there. Now, this time I'm going to do the solar return chart of Joseph Biden, the solar return for 2023. See, if you want to make sure whether a candidate wins or not, you have to look at the opponent and see if he is going to win. So I'm going to start with the president's solar return chart. So why am I reading the solar return chart of 2023? It was because his year doesn't start until November. So his year already started November 2023. And he's still in the middle of his solar return year for 2023. His birthday falls in November. So his birthday is November 19, 2023. And the election is November 4th. So his 2024 doesn't start on the 19th. It doesn't start until the 19th. However, as clear as these charts are, there seems to be a twist, which I will get to at the end. And I always say to myself, don't second guess yourself by what is happening out there in the world or get influenced by others. So if there are those who are capable of interpreting the chart without external influence, please do. I welcome you. You can post it on the comment section or send me your reading via email and I can post it on the channel. I like to see what other astrologers have on this particular topic. So there's a crisis in 2023, just like Trump. He walked into a crisis. The sun rules Biden, and it's in the 4th house with Mars, which is in its fall by house, but in dignity by sign. The sun has already opposed Uranus in the 10th house. Uranus is retrograde. The 10th house, that's his how he comes across to the world, and also his job. That's his career too. The moon rules the 12th house, a hidden enemy, now an open enemy opposing the sun and Uranus, his job. Think about it. The moon rules publicity. It's in the house of public, opposing the ascendant, the sun, and Uranus. Uranus rules the 7th house. That's the house of public and the publicity, which is now against him. Uranus is the people because it rules the 7th house. And basically his employers, the voters, the people who put him in office. The public or the people is his employer. Think about it. The moon in Aquarius is a misfortune severance because it is in a bad aspect. Aquarius rules divorces or any kind of partings. So I said in the beginning that this year would be critical. And look at Venus. It's in its sign, but in a critical degree. The ascendant and the midheaven rulers are in critical degrees, really confirming that this year there's going to be a crisis. That's because it's a re-election year, but also a year of public opposition. And since moon rules women, women may not be happy with him. Maybe this has to do with abortion or something like that. Now, let's turn to the 2024 solar return. Let's look at the ascendant. It's in an early degree, 2 degrees. Sun, Mars, and Pluto represent Biden. Except for Mars, the Sun and Pluto are in late degrees. Pluto is in 29 degrees. That's a very late degree. It's what we call the degree of desperation, and it's about to change. The person wants to just move on in a very late degree too. But he can't because he's basically void. He's in the midst of moving from one sign to another. And he's going to be moving into Aquarius very suddenly, maybe unexpectedly, but this is where it gets really interesting. The sun has opposed Uranus in the 7th house. The sun rules his 10th house. Also notice that Mars and Pluto are in an out of sign opposition. It would have been better if Mars was in the 10th house, but it's in an out of sign and in the 9th house. Well, it's conjuncted, but it's conjuncting from the 9th house, which I don't particularly like. Also, notice that Mars square the ascendant. Not a strong chart, because the person is kind of at odds for some reason, because Mars rules him and it's in a square with himself. He's at odds when it comes to this matter. So initially, by looking at the sun in the 1st house, you would think this is good, but it has already opposed Uranus, which is elevated, separating, or moving. Now we're going to go to the solar return, really go back to the solar return of 2024. There's a Scorpio ascendant at early 2 degrees. Mars is conjunct the midheaven from the 9th house, as I mentioned earlier. The sun is in the 1st house, indicating that he is still working or he has been successful and has a job. But of course, because he really doesn't turn over the position until the following year, if he should lose, he would, because the incumbent doesn't turn over the job until the following year, is what I'm trying to say. The fact that the sun rules or is ruling success, or the 10th house is in the 1st, is a sign of success. In other words, he's in there, he's successful, and it does look like he's winning. But again, there's an opposition to Uranus, which you really cannot dismiss. And this is where, I'm not comfortable with this. The other ruler is Pluto. It's at the end of the road, direct, and about to make a change. So being at such a late degree, it is practically void. It can't do anything. The sun is sextile in it. Do you notice that all the cusps are at early degrees? So what is happening here? So what's hard to figure out here is that the parting with the home has taken place. Is he leaving or moving out of his home? So that's the twist that's on my mind. But he's in the house. If he wins, he stays in the house. Do you see what I mean? See, he wouldn't be moving out of the house, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Well, anyway, that is it for now. And if you want to be on my work list and want a reading from me,